This presentation is made by PLAYFAIR Visa and Migration Services and PLAYFAIR Legal. The purpose of this presentation is to provide further information with regards to those who are on one of the two temporary protection visas in Australia. This includes the temporary protection visa known as the TPV and the Safe Haven Enterprise visa known as the SHEV visas. This is to provide further information for those who are seeking to renew their visas or are seeking to obtain other visa options in Australia. But first, a little bit about us. PLAYFAIR Visa and Migration Services and PLAYFAIR Legal is a private company founded in 1988. We've been successful in representing clients for the past 30 years. We provide services for visas in the protection, family and corporate streams. We also have non-migration services including commercial and family law. There are two temporary protection visas in Australia. The temporary protection visa, known as the TPV, is a 3-year visa that must be renewed before the expiry. The visa doesn't have a pathway for other visas, except to renew it for another TPV or to apply for a Safe Haven Enterprise visa. The second is called the Safe Haven Enterprise visa, otherwise known as SHEV. It is a 5-year visa that requires the holder to have the intention to reside, including work and study, in a regional area. The intention does not have to be undertaken, which means that you don't have to reside in a regional area if you are not able to do so. The visa must also be renewed before its expiry date. This visa has a pathway to permanent residency. Before we look at options, let's look at the background of temporary protection visas. You will only be eligible for a temporary protection visa if you're an unauthorized maritime arrival. That is, a person who's arrived in Australia by boat without a visa. Or you have come to Australia on a plane but you weren't immigration cleared. That is, those who came by plane in Australia but were not able to pass customs, or that their visa was cancelled before they entered Australia. These individuals cannot apply for a permanent protection visa and are only eligible for temporary protection visas. Temporary protection visas are subject to renewal. The TPV is renewed every 3 years, and the SHEV visa is renewed every 5 years. At the point of renewal, the Department of Immigration may reassess your claims and determine whether you are owed Australia's protection obligations. If you have additional claims, you may make your claims at this point. If your circumstances have changed, you may also provide a change of circumstances at this time. You might be asking yourself, what is the difference between a TPV and a SHEV? A temporary protection visa, or a TPV, is a 3-year visa. At the point of expiry, a person can apply for one of two visas, either renewing the TPV or applying for the SHEV visa. The person cannot apply for any other visa except these two visas. On the other hand, a Safe Haven Enterprise visa or a SHEV visa is valid for 5 years. If you're applying for this visa, you must have the intention to move to a regional area at the time of your application. However, it is also important to note that you do not necessarily have to move if you subsequently change your mind or that you cannot complete this step. Unlike the TPV, the SHEV visa has a pathway to other visas provided that you complete the criteria under the visa. If you have the intention to apply for other visas in Australia, the first step is to unlock your SHEV visa. To unlock your SHEV visa, you must complete the following steps. You must first move to a regional area for a period of 42 months, or 3.5 years. These 42 months don't have to be continuous. You can do so cumulatively. You must ensure that your permanent address is in the regional area and that you have evidence of the 42 months of living in a regional area. The second step is to either study or work full-time in the regional area. There are other things that you must abide by. The first thing is that you shouldn't be reliant on government subsidies, such as payments, and you should ideally be paying your tax. The Department of Immigration will require you to demonstrate evidence that you have paid your tax. You must ensure that you keep evidence of your work or your study and that you reside for the 42 months in regional area. So, you have finally been able to complete 42 months in regional Australia and have either been working or studying or doing both in order to meet and unlock your SHEV visa. What next? What options are available to you? Well, the answer to that is not very simple. This is because most visas, particularly permanent visas, are limited and are very difficult to meet. So, my advice to you is seek legal advice to see if you're eligible for other permanent visas in Australia, and if you don't meet the criteria, don't invest in moving to regional Australia. If you cannot move to a permanent visa, there is no point for you to transition and for you to relocate to regional Australia. We're going to explore some of the basic permanent visas in Australia and the skills, the language and qualifications you need to meet. One of the ways a person can become permanent resident is through a partner visa, or otherwise known as a marriage visa. In order to be able to apply for a partner visa, you must have an Australian partner. An Australian partner is a person who is an Australian citizen or a permanent resident. Your relationship must be genuine. This will be tested by the department when you apply for the visa. You must either be married or in a de facto relationship. You must demonstrate evidence of your relationship. This includes evidence of your social relationship or your financial arrangements. Another way to apply for permanent residence is through the skilled visa pathway. There are numerous skilled visa pathways depending on your circumstances. We will not get into specific visa pathways. However, what we will touch on is a number of common criteria that you must meet before you are eligible to apply for skilled visas. The first point to be aware of is the English language. As a general rule, you must have a very good command of the English language. There are a number of English tests you can sit to test your English skills. The two main tests in Australia are the IELTS and the PTE test. And as a general rule, you're expected to have a score of competent in the English language test in order for you to be eligible for a skilled visa. The second thing to note is that you must have skills that are highly sought after by the Australian government or by the relevant state in which you live in. To determine whether your skills are highly sought after, we highly recommend that you seek legal advice. Each state has got its own priorities. In addition to that, depending on your skill level, there is a different qualification attached to each skills. You must ensure that not only you meet the skill level, but also you meet the relevant qualifications for that skill. This brings me to the third point regarding qualifications. Skilled visas require qualifications depending on the skills and the trade or the profession in which you are applying for a visa. Your qualifications can be obtained in Australia or offshore, or you can replace qualifications with relevant experience in Australia. This is highly dependent on your occupation, and we recommend that you seek legal advice. Number 4, you need to have a minimum amount of experience in order to apply for different types of visas. Your qualifications and your skills also determines how much experience you need to have. 5, depending on the type of visa you apply for, you must have an employer who can sponsor you. If you have an employer who is willing to sponsor you, we highly recommend that you seek legal advice to see if you're eligible for one of the skilled visas. This brings me to the most important point of all, that you seek legal advice before you undertake any steps. There is no point for you to move to regional Australia if you're not eligible for a permanent visa. On the other hand, if you are eligible for a permanent visa, it is important that you lay the groundwork now so that when the time comes, you can easily and without any hindrance or any impediments be able to apply for a permanent visa. At PLAYFAIR Visa and Migration Services, we are more than happy to assist you with your steps and to lay the groundwork so that when the time comes, you will be able to apply for the visa that you're eligible for. Please contact us on any of the contact details listed on the screen, and we are more than happy to assist you and to undertake a consultation.